What is going on, everybody? Welcome in to another edition, episode 6 of Nostalgia Mania. I am your host, the real Josh Elliott, and with me, as always, is the man, the myth, the legend, Stichamania, Derrick Stich. What's up, buddy?
Not much. How are you doing?
Doing great, man. Doing great. Man, 6 episodes down. Well, 5 down. About ready to be 6. We're kind of chugging right along, aren't we?
Yep.
Been crazy. What's up, bro? Look at that. Already got people in the chat. Autumn,
Hey,
as always, appreciate you tuning in. We are here, like I said, on episode 6. We're going to be chatting about, as you can see right right there. I'm terrible at this. This is reversed. So the Simpsons Arcade Game. We're going to get into that here very, very shortly. But I need to ask you. I talked a lot last episode, so I'm going to open it up to you because I know you've probably got a lot to say. This has nothing to do with video games, nothing to do with what we are here to talk about and get nostalgic. But people who watch this probably are from the Kansas City area. So, dude, talk to us about what happened on Sunday.
The Chiefs game?
Kansas City Chiefs were so close to losing that undefeated streak.
Yeah.
Dude, what a game that was, man.
Yeah. You know what, man? Despite all the wins and being 9-0 now, it's probably now a buddy of mine said it best. He said that this team is the worst 9-0 team probably ever. So
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Even despite all the injuries, all the, Chiefs being favored with flags and no calls, and still we're winning, man. Still, we're still getting it done. So
that's all that matters.
And you know what's funny though is I only literally watched the last 2 minutes of that game. That's when I tuned in to watch it. I didn't even watch the whole game.
Really?
Yeah. Because I work nights. So, I typically sleep a lot of the day. And I had checked my fantasy football to see how my team was doing, see how the score was. And I noticed that there was like 2 minutes left in the fantasy football app on the game, and that Denver had the ball and they were driving. So I was like, oh crap. And it was a close game. So I turned on the TV, went to the channel, and I started watching it, and it literally said 2 minutes. And so I literally watched it. It's 2 minute, and man, I can't even believe that's how that game ended. I thought, man, Denver's going to run down. They're going to kick a field goal, and then that's going to be it. Going to lose by what, 1 point? Yeah. So I never thought that field goal would have got blocked. But that just goes to show you, man, how bad they wanted it, how bad they wanted to keep that kick from going in. And, Leo Chanel, freaking, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, dude, like I said, it was a crazy ending, great game. A lot of great games, honestly, this whole past NFL weekend. But, the amount of hate that fans have for the Chiefs, it's crazy. And it's not just obviously the Kansas City, it's nationwide. Yep. They are the new New England Patriots.
Sadly,
we heard so many people, hate the Patriots because of Tom Brady and how well they do, and then now it's like just it's the Chiefs.
Yep.
People just hate winners. That's all it is. They hate. I take that back. They hate consistent winners,
and they also hate losers too.
You're right. You're right. But again, if you have a loser going up against a winner, 9 times out of 10, 90% of the country is going to go with somebody who usually doesn't win. And that's how the Chiefs were. Like they were bottom of the barrel for a while.
For a
long time. And then they would make their sporadic, a couple playoff bursts and then drop right back down, and similar to the Jags. But the Chiefs just kind of went to that next level and stayed there. And that's kind of where they've been the last, 6 or 7 years. But anyway, this isn't a football podcast. This is a video game podcast. So as you can see, my background's a little different. I don't have Jacksonville and wrestling belts behind me. I am traveling this week in Joplin, Missouri, down in the southwestern portion of Missouri, for those of you who are watching Autumn. Down in southern Missouri for work, and we are like I said, I'm here. This is where I'm at. Sorry, she just commented here. Can't make everyone happy. Anyone happy. Yeah. So, with that being said, we are live currently. If you're watching us, we're live on YouTube. We're live on Twitch at The Real Josh Elliott. You can go to my page and find all the Nostalgia Mania podcasts. They are in their own special folder. This is episode 6, so this is going right in that folder with all the others. I've got other content on there. The I-70 hot tag, which has 87 episodes, or also have their own folder as well. Got some Fountain City Pro stuff on there, but right now, currently, the only active show I've got going is Nostalgia Mania. So this is right here where you want to be to watch us. All of our video library is on our YouTube page. Eventually, hopefully, we'll be able to go live on Facebook as well, but we have to meet some sort of criteria, which I'm assuming is follow count. So go follow us on Facebook at Nostalgia Mania. We also have an X Twitter page. And those are the 2 social media pages we've got other than YouTube. You can follow me at The Real Josh Elliott, Facebook, X, TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram. I'm sure there's more. Stich, Derrick, where can everybody follow you on social media?
Facebook. Facebook is my number one used social media.
You damn millennial.
I know. Telling you, man, I get hooked on all those stupid videos. And then you go even further down the rabbit hole, man.
The Reels? Are you talking about Reels?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
TikToks and Reels are the way to go right now. So.
Yep. X, Instagram, at Stichamania. I do have a TikTok. I don't use it very much, hardly at all, really. And then, and that's it. Well, I have a Twitch, but it's Stichamania. So
there you go. One of these days we'll get your YouTube attached to this, and we'll live on your page as well. So
yeah, I have actually one video on there that I created. Man, we were just on there looking the other day, and I can't even remember how long ago that video was. But you were the only one that commented.
Yeah, it's a pretty beast video.
Yeah. At least that's what the comment says.
Yeah. No,
Twice.
14 years ago, I think is what it was.
Yeah.
Close to that one video. So,
and it's a wrestling video clip of all.
It is.
So.
That it is. Go check it. Go check Stich out on YouTube. Stichamania or Stichamania?
It's either Stichamania or Stichamania. Let me look.
Either way, you're gonna get to him. You just go follow him. He doesn't obviously post once every 14 years, but when he does post, it is a very, very good video.
So yeah, it's Stichamania.
There you go. Effin.
Yeah, it's from WWE SmackDown vs. Raw 2010, and it's a 25-second video of Randy Orton and Goldust in the ring. So yeah.
I think I remember a Shattered Dreams in that.
Yep.
In that clip.
Yeah, Randy Orton did not have a good weekend after that. So.
All right. So if you remember last week, we talked about one of my favorite games on the Sony PlayStation, and that was Twisted Metal. And the whole franchise, really. And I will say, since then, I mean, it only took me 2 evenings, but since then I watched the entire first season of Twisted Metal.
Yeah.
It's over.
Did you like it?
Absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
It is such a good series, and it's not because I'm a fan of Twisted Metal. You could have never watched Twisted Metal before.
Yeah.
And love this show. But it has a lot of callbacks to the video game, like the names of the cars, and Sweet Tooth is an absolute bad A. it's just cool, man. You get a version of Outlaw, you get a version of Roadkill, you get a version of Sweet Tooth, and Pit Viper was a character. They were very, very small in the first season. Hopefully, she'll play a bigger version in the second series. Mr. Slam.
Yeah,
who I talked about being in the second one had a very funny funny character in the series. I'm not going to go into it, but if you haven't watched it, man, go watch it. Like I said, you don't have to be a fan of Twisted Metal. It is a very good show.
I watched the first episode, really liked it. I started watching the second episode, and then for some reason I stopped. I don't remember why I stopped, but yeah,
pick it back up, man.
And I finished watching all of Tulsa King season 2. So that's awesome. Yep. Nice. So I finished that. But now Yellowstone's back on. And they played the first episode of Yellowstone last night. And well, I think I already found out something about it, and don't know if I'm going to be too happy about it. So
spoilers? No spoilers.
No,
I'm just kidding. So, my wife watches it. She's caught up on it. I am not. So that just show that's on my list to watch. So so that's Twisted Metal. If you guys haven't seen the show, go watch it. If you haven't played the game, what are you doing? Go check that out. Twisted Metal Black, obviously Stich and I's favorite of the series. But we talked about the first Twisted Metal last week. But we're not talking about Twisted Metal this week. We're moving to a completely different, I want to say platform, but completely different gaming system. And we've talked about, regular Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, Nintendo 64, Sony PlayStation, and now we are moving to the world of arcade games. And we are talking about the Simpsons Arcade Game, which was developed by, and correct me if I'm saying this incorrectly, but it is Konami?
Yeah, Konami, yeah.
Konami, I said that correct. All right. Konami, and it was released in March of 1991, which was, there's the logo for Konami. Very distinctive logo for those gamers out there. It was actually the first video game based on the Simpsons franchise that was released in North America. So there was not any before that, obviously, because when did the Simpsons come out? 1990?
No, 88 or 89, I believe.
That's right. It came out we were barely.
Yeah, it was technically it started in 87, in April of 87, but yeah, because it was because there was animated shorts that they showed, and it was from 87 to 89, and then 89 is when the show took off. So,
yep. Yeah. So before we get into the talking about memories of playing the game, let's talk about Konami for a minute. Like this, if you were a gamer, you probably, I don't know, played games that this screen would pop up as the game was loading into your system. This was the developer of The Simpsons, obviously, but one of my favorite games, Metal Gear Solid. This was a game developed. Also, was my uncle's my uncle's favorite game was Silent Hill. Was developed by Konami. Contra, among others.
Great game. That'll probably have to be an episode.
100%. I'm surprised we haven't done that already. Honestly, we were on 6 episodes, but Contra is top notch. But Konami, man,
they've done a lot of stuff. They really have.
Yeah.
And what's funny is they're actually responsible for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game.
Yu-Gi-Oh?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
Did not know that. Were you a big Yu-Gi-Oh player?
No.
No?
No. Never played the game in my life.
Did you play any of those, like Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic? Did you play any of those card games?
Magic, no. I had a short stint with Pokemon cards that lasted literally about 5 minutes. I got a whole bunch from my cousin because he had a ton of them. And there were some in there that I really liked, like the cards themselves, like the Pokemon. And then I actually got them. I got the one or the two cards that I had of my favorites, got them stolen from me. And then from somebody that was supposed to be my best friend. And then shortly after that, I quit. And then after that, I stopped getting them. I don't even know what I did with them all after that. There wasn't a lot of them, but yeah.
Weirdly enough, man, like I also didn't play any of those games as a kid. Like thinking about what goes into those games though now, like they actually seem kind of interesting and would seem a little fun for me to play like as an adult. I just watched, and I think, let me see, I got a comment here. So Autumn's in the chat still. I sent a video on YouTube. Yeah. Now, I'm not on YouTube, I'm on TikTok. You're probably gonna know better than I do. I'm terrible with names. The actor that played Rick's best friend in The Walking Dead.
John Bernthal?
Yes, played Shane.
Yeah.
He just had an interview with somebody who was talking about Dungeons and Dragons. And as a kid, that's not something I was into. And
no, me neither.
And something that, I mean, I didn't necessarily, because I was a gamer as well. So it's not like I was making fun of people who played Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
But this person, like John was very interested in, hey, how do you play? And she explained it in a 5-minute, hey, let's just play. Yeah. And she talked him through a 10 to 15, I don't know if it was that long, but 10-minute video of, okay, this is what you're going through. This is your character. You see this in the distance. They might be able to kill you. And like, anyway, just like I said, not a fan of Dungeons and Dragons growing up, but the way she explained it was like, again, just like Pokemon cards or Yu-Gi-Oh or Magic, like now, like would be fairly fun to play. So,
well, when back then, kids, they didn't have all the video games, they didn't have the cell phones, you didn't have all that stuff. So Dungeons and Dragons was an easy, fun game that kids could just kind of make up on the spot and then just kind of go with it, The show Stranger Things. That show is largely based on their, them playing Dungeons and Dragons, and their experience with it, and the Demogorgon. The Demigorgon. I don't know. The Demigorgon. Yeah,
I watched the first season of Stranger Things, then I never really.
Oh man, it's such a great show. One of the only bad things about the show is that when the show first starts, the kids are all really young and they're all just funny and hilarious, and then there's so much gap in between each season that they go from like being like 13 or 14 or whatever to being like 16, 17 years old. So
anytime you have a show that has children, children age much faster than adults.
Demogorgon, yeah. See, Autumn knows. Autumn knows.
Yeah, Demogorgon. There you go. I know. I need to watch it. So let's kind of veer it back on track here before we get into the next topic. Let's do a video clip. since we
All
learned
right.
how to do video and it's not going to skip out or anything, let's play the intro, what you would see at the arcade when you walked up to the Simpsons Arcade Game.
Looks just like the show. Just, not as good graphics.
I apologize for anybody watching us on YouTube that our show is now muted. I didn't change any sounds on any of our videos today. So
yeah, we do not own the rights to The Simpsons or the music that is played during it.
No, we do not. Please do not mute our videos. Please do not mute episode 6 of Nostalgia Mania. So you and I are millennials. So we grew up kind of in that stage where like arcades were there, but they were starting to slowly decline.
Mm-hmm.
Like what do you remember about playing? Like I know it came out for a little bit on a console. I don't want to, but I'm going to really talk about that. I want to strictly talk about arcade, the stand-up arcade game at those facilities. What do you remember and how was your arcade experience like growing up as a kid?
Man.
Did you go to many arcades or like for me, I played the game majorly not at arcades. It was more at like bowling alleys and like which had its own separate arcade, but like I didn't actually go to an arcade like more like Gen X would have done, prior to us. But like that's do you have any memories of playing the arcade as a kid growing up?
I don't really specifically have like memories of those, at least none that I can remember. But playing the Simpsons was definitely one of the games that was an awesome game to play. It was just fun. There wasn't a lot of thinking involved. There wasn't a lot of skill involved. It was literally a button masher game. And you literally just had to beat up the bad guys. And that was what made it so fun. And, that was the beauty of it. It just, you had Bart that, sit there and beat people with a skateboard. You had Marge hitting people with the vacuum. I don't think Homer, if I can remember, I don't really think Homer had a weapon, but maybe he used beer cans.
His special ability was just like brute strength, basically.
Oh yeah, okay. And then Lisa, I think, didn't she have a jump rope?
She had a jump rope. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I just having and The Simpsons was is a good show. It's a great show. Definitely probably not for kids necessarily, at least nowadays.
Right.
Because what's funny is because when The Simpsons was out, when we were kids, it was one of those shows that your parents probably didn't want you watching. Just kind of like how South Park is today. People don't want their kids watching South Park, you know. And the funny thing of it is when we were kids, we all related with Bart. But as now we're all older and adults, now we're relating more to Homer. Which ironically is just, it's crazy,
Yeah.
But even though Bart still does a lot of adult things, you know, we still relate more to Homer now than Bart. So
yeah.
But
yeah, no, you said it best. Like all those, they all had their like unique character, abilities. You know, they had the skateboard, the jump rope, the vacuum, and then just the sheer brute strength. Also, like if you remember, and we'll play a clip here in a second. Like there was like teaming abilities as well.
Yeah, because I think Homer could throw Bart, right, with the skateboard.
Yeah, Homer could throw Bart. Homer could pick Lisa up on his shoulder, and Lisa would use the jump rope kind of as a whip.
Yeah.
And then if Homer and Marge teamed up, they would do like a rolling attack. And then I can't remember what Bart and Maggie would do, or Lisa, sorry, would do as a team. But yeah, like it was just fun, man. Like going, like I said, like if you go, like for me, going to an arcade, which again I told you earlier, I never went to an arcade really just to go to an arcade. That was more of a Gen X thing. We were kind of the arcade were kind of declining, but we still went to the bowling alleys and the stuff like that. Like you think of an arcade, you think of, for me at least, I think of, the Simpsons Arcade. If you don't have the Simpsons, then you're not in an arcade. Yeah. If you don't have Galaga, you don't have an arcade. And if you don't have Pac-Man, you don't have an arcade. Those are the three that, like, if you're missing any of those three, then you're not a legitimate arcade.
Yeah.
So
Donkey Kong, is it Junior? Or Donkey Kong?
Like the original Donkey Kong with Mario and the ladders?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one as well. That's go ahead.
And then probably a Ninja Turtle game somewhere in there.
Yes. Teenage Mutant Turtles was good. Yeah, Double Dragon was one of my favorites as well. But like I always thought it was cool, like to go with a group of friends, which we normally had at the bowling alley, and go up and play 4 players, be able to pick, the 4 characters in the Simpsons. It's a classic beat 'em up, style game. Like you said, there's no skill involved. You're just, mashing the hit button and the jump button and trying not to die. But let me cue this up. Let's play a little bit of gameplay of. Actually, let's do the intro or the beginning, kind of what sets it up, which is actually the diamond being flown up into the air, and then Maggie catching it in her mouth.
Yep.
And then we'll play some gameplay footage as well right after that. If you're not already in Nostalgia Mania, I don't know what's gonna put you there. Like that was clear. Like, so, okay. Let me ask you this:
Well, let me interrupt you real quick. Again,
Okay,
we don't own the rights to the Simpsons or that video game. So yeah,
you're correct. We don't. We own nothing. We're making $0 out of this. Only our time is what's being spent on this here podcast. I want to ask you though, like, how far, if you remember, how far did you ever make it in the Simpsons arcade?
oh man,
Like the boss we just
yeah, that was the first boss.
That was the first boss.
I remember
which was what, Professor Von. There he is, Professor Werner von something. I can't. I for some reason it's cut off. I can't see his name. But did you get to the next boss?
I'm sure I did. Because I remember like kind of in the intermissions they had the the mini game. So
yes, they did. They did. I think now. We're not experts. We never claim to be experts at these games, so we're doing a little bit of research ourselves, especially since usually we go up and play the game and we get to that boss right there, and probably close to this.
Oh yeah,
the Krusty Balloon. That's
yep.
For me. This is the only other boss that
That you got to?
I got to. That the rest of them, I take that back. I lied. Because if you look here, they had basically the Big Goon and Little Goon, which looked like a Big Bart and Little Bart.
Yeah.
So I did fight that. I did face that as well. So I mean, I guess I did get 3 or 4 levels into the game.
Yeah.
But let's before we get in too much into that, I'm gonna resort these so I don't none of you can see this, but I'm going to resort them so I don't show them again. But let's take a trip down memory lane here. Like that's that's what you'd see at the arcade games, or the arcades, the bowling alleys. There's another shot of it. You can see Punch Out there in the background, which is a arcade that you have in your man cave.
I do. Of course, mine doesn't have the side sticker on it. The
does it?
Side sticker. No, it doesn't. Yeah. It's a little bit more let's say used.
That's all right. That's all right.
But you can go. On websites. You can go on websites. You can order the decals, or reprints of the decals, and they look basically perfect.
Yeah.
So,
yep. So we kind of chatted about but yeah, man, this is that light blue. I mean, you see this, you're getting ready to get down, because this is one of the most fun games you're going to play in an arcade, bar none, in my opinion. Like,
yeah.
If you're not playing The Simpsons at least once, you're not throwing some quarters in there and playing, you're not getting the full experience of an arcade. Because
no, not at all.
So we talked about Professor Werner von Braun. We talked about the Krusty Balloon.
Yeah, because doesn't he? I think he takes like a potion or something, or and then he transfers the first bad guy in The Simpsons. I think he transforms or something like that.
I'm not sure, honestly. Right. I'm not 100% sure. But let's John Geyer in the house. I played this arcade game countless times at the laundromat. See, I was talking about I played at the bowling alley. That's because I didn't go to arcades as a kid, really, because really arcades was they were still kind of popular when we were young, but that was more of a Gen X thing, like we said. But yeah, it was extremely fun to have 2 to 4 buddies going up and playing the game. But like you mentioned, before we get into the other bosses, since we got some viewers in here, let's take a look at that mini game that you were talking about.
It's a great mini game.
Yeah, let's take a look real quick.
Blow up your balloon and go after Maggie. Ready? Go!
It's a great game. And all you had to do was see who the fastest was at pushing that button.
Yep.
Well, I say push, then, as competitive as
tap the button.
Start smashing that button.
Yeah.
So
it reminded me of like Mortal Kombat. We had to tap the two buttons as fast as you can to chop the piece of wood. Yeah. So you had Professor Werner von Braun, which was the boss of Downtown. You had Krusty Balloon, and I'm going to try to get these pulled up at the same time. Krusty Balloon, which was the boss of Krusty Land. The two goons.
Yep. And then all he did was just smash.
Yep. Which was
I remember those guys.
The Crypt Elevator. The next one was the Drunk Man at Moe's Tavern, which is this one right here.
God, I don't even remember that one.
Yeah, so that was right after the two goons. So like I said, I don't think I got to this boss. I never got to him. The two goons was the final. I was getting killed, or I was going on to Moe's Tavern, and I got killed, and I never continued the game. So after this one, you actually fought a bear.
Bear, yeah, I remember. The bear.
Which was Butte, the level called Butte. You actually faced a bowling ball, which was in Dreamland. That's the name of the level.
Don't remember that.
You faced where we at? Did I get Robot? Yes, I did. Sorry, I was all out of order. Robot was the next one.
No.
Channel 6 first half. The Kubaki Warrior.
What?
Which was in Channel 6 second half. You also faced at one point. You faced Mr. Burns in the full robot suit. You faced Mr. Burns in a different robot suit. You faced Smithers, which I don't know the order of bosses at this point. I've kind of lost track of that. And then also the final Mr. Burns. Again, I don't. This one might be the very last boss. I'm not 100% sure. But you would face Mr. Burns 3 times, Smithers once, and then the rest of the characters all one time.
Yeah.
So crazy.
I remember seeing the bear like on the game, but I don't remember ever actually facing the bear.
Yeah.
So
Same.
and I really don't even remember facing. I don't even think I faced the drunk guy either. So I think that's just about as far as, because we probably ran out of quarters at that point. And, the 50 times that we begged mom and dad for, quarters, they were like, no, you're cut off. You're done. You're not playing no more. So
my mom,
we were mad and upset. We had to continue our game. We had only a certain amount of time to go and get that quarter or 2 quarters and put it in that machine, or we had to restart all over and couldn't play anymore.
Yep.
So, because we wanted
my parents
to be on that high score.
My parents would always give me when we went to the bowling alley, like I said. And shout out to Brody. Thank you for tuning in, sir.
Yeah, what's up, Brody?
Broderick Hall. They would give me a $5 bill usually and say, make this last for our 3 games of bowling. Because they'd pay 3 games of bowling every Friday night at Capitol Bowling Lanes, Grandview, Missouri. This was the Simpsons was one of them. And you got to be strategic, right? you could either sit here and play this and just dump all your $5 into this game and be done in 20 minutes.
Yep.
Or you're like, you know what? I'm going to go play, Mortal Kombat, or I'm going to go play, whatever other game, Double Dragon or different other games. So that's usually what I did. I would play as long as I possibly could. And then sometimes I would continue, but most times, as soon as I died, I would go on to the next one. So let's see. Home in time for once, man.
You know what's funny is Capitol Lanes. My dad and my mom used to bowl at Capitol Lanes, and I'm pretty sure that's where I lost my entire case full of my Game Boy. I had a case for it. I had games. Like, I lost the whole thing because I'm pretty sure I left it there. And I don't think we ever went back to get it. So
you said something last week during the show that you lost something somewhere. I can't remember I remember you saying something that I remember you and I, and this has nothing to do with video games, but I remember you and I going to a TNA wrestling event.
Oh, God.
And you had a camera. And we took pictures, and I had a picture with Eric Young and Bobby Roode, or Robert Roode at the time. Yep. And you had a photo with, I think, Kurt Angle. No. I can't remember exactly. But anyway, you put the freaking camera down, and we got all the way back to your house. And you're like, dude, I forgot my camera.
Well, I remember that night actually pretty well because we were all waiting in line to get in the ring to meet Kurt Angle. And I had my mom's camera that she had given me to use. And I specifically remember I had put that camera down on the ring apron, right on the ring, to get inside of the ring with Kurt. And I actually still have, not with me right here, it's actually at my mom's, but I still have the Polaroid.
So do I.
That I took with Angle in the ring.
The IWGP and the TNA title, both of them?
Yep. And if I would have known, I would have asked him to hold the titles because that's what other people were doing.
Yep.
But that's fine. But yeah, I put that camera on the ring, got out, did the picture, whatever, all that. We were in the car driving on the way back home, and that's when I realized I forgot the camera. And so, yeah, needless to say, Mom was she was a little upset.
Yeah.
So, but the funny thing is that camera, ended up being old and outdated anyway after probably a year or two or three, whatever.
For sure.
So
for sure. So let me see here. So we've got another gameplay clip. I know we got a couple viewers in the chat. Autumn Broderick is still here. Yeah, she was pissed. I remember I drove him home that night, and I had to sit there and watch him tell his mom. Left my camera on the ringside. We got another clip of gameplay for the Simpsons. So, and
again, we don't own the rights.
We don't own the rights to this, so don't mute our video. YouTube, do not mute our episode, please. So let's check this out. Brody
was with us. So, and he met Homicide.
Right, he was.
Yeah, he met Homicide and Hernandez.
Yeah, because we were sitting on the. Didn't we sit up? I know this has nobody cares about this because nobody's coming to watch this show.
They were like bleachers, basically.
I thought this might be a different time, Brody, because me and you sat on the right by the entrance. And you cheered for Robert Roode. And everybody else is booing. I think this was a different time. I don't think Stich came with us that time. It was just you and me.
Well, I mean, I remember being there because the Dudley boys were there.
Yeah, I think
I remember going like this I remember like doing this to Bubba, and he got all mad and got in my face. And that was when Christian Cage said that that was when Christian Cage called Kansas City, Kansas, the butthole of the United States, or the butt crack of the United States. So,
yeah. All right. So, I'm going to play some gameplay footage of gameplay clips of The Simpsons. This is probably we did play Krusty Land, which was the second level, but we got some levels that I never played. You probably never played, but yeah. So we're gonna play that here in a minute, and then if I'm not, I'm gonna go in the restroom as this is playing. So if I don't come back by then, Stich, take over and start talking about what we saw.
All right.
Up and at 'em.
Stich has been to 2 TNA events. So tell me, did you play that last? Have you ever played that level that was just playing in the snow?
I think those were clouds, weren't they?
Or clouds, whatever, whatever that white level was.
I think it was clouds. I don't know.
Yeah, I never played it before. When I was watching some gameplay clips, I said, "Man, this is I never made it this far."
Yeah.
So, with that being said, did you have anything else you wanted to share about The Simpsons?
Well, you know, I don't think people realize this, but you know, after The Simpsons came out on arcade, it was actually on the Commodore 64. It was on MS-DOS. It was on the 360, and it was on PS3 because
That's right.
Xbox had, you know, the arcade titles, and it was on there. And then it got taken off. It got taken off in 2013 off of both services, PlayStation Live and or PSN Network, PlayStation Network, and Xbox Live. But yeah, and then in 2021, that's when the arcade, you know, the arcade 1-up, you know, released its cabinet. And those things are a lot smaller than the regular size arcade games.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So,
you know, one thing I completely skipped, an entire section that I skipped actually. We always talk about like how many copies the games sell, but it's really like it's difficult for arcades to like generate or tell how much an arcade made from.
Yeah,
because it's much harder than a console, right? So basically the as a general metric from what the research that I did, the popular games back in the 90s made anywhere between $100 and $500 per week per cabinet.
wow.
So if the Simpsons games were, you know, in let's just say 100 arcades in Missouri, and then times 50 states. You could do the math, find out how much money they made.
Yep.
Given the popularity of the TV show, which in 91 you said it started in 80 in the 80s.
Yeah, 89 is when it technically first started with the 30 plus seasons.
So when I was doing this came out during or right after the second season aired on TV. So super popular, still is popular. And so like some industry sources have estimated that the game has earned tens of millions of dollars in quarters through its peak years. Like that's pretty crazy to think about. And it's one of the top ones, I think. Like I said, you're not going to get an arcade game. You're not going to have an actual arcade unless you've got The Simpsons, you've got Galaga, and you've got Pac-Man. Those are my three. And I'm glad we've got some viewers in here because I've got an extra. Hopefully, Brody's still in here. He's sorry, I'm not looking at the chat. The legend was born that year, 1989. I'm assuming.
Yeah, he was.
Well, you were 85, right, Stich?
Yep, 85.
You were 85. I was 87. Brody was 89. And
we're all just.
My sister was 91, so every other year.
Yeah, we're all old.
So I'm glad Brody's in here because I want to see what he would say here because I've got a graphic here I want to put up. And I saved this. Stich has never seen it.
Who's Brody?
And I want you to answer. Let me go back here and find it. There it is. All right. I think. There it is. All right. So we're talking arcades. So 2 weeks ago, we did the Chat GPT tournament. Last week, we did the draft. This week, we're going to say you can only pick one. So I am going to have 6 arcade games that are going to show up on your screen. And if you're going to create, and this is the scenario, if you're going to create an arcade, you're going to start an arcade, and you can only have one of these 6, and you cannot have the other 5 at all in your arcade. Which one are you picking? You get the first pick of these iconic titles. So Stich, you can only pick one. You've got Pac-Man, you've got Galaga, Asteroids, The Simpsons, Frogger, and Space Invaders. You're starting your own arcade. You can have one, but not the other 5. Which arcade cabinet are you picking?
Honestly, man, I love Galaga. Pac-Man's also great, but Miss Pac-Man was actually better than the original Pac-Man. And I only say that because Miss Pac-Man had a lot more different levels. The thing about Pac-Man is it just basically had the same levels over and over, but they just increased in difficulty. Frogger, I never played in the arcade. Space Invaders and Asteroids are probably a little before my time. I'm not sure what years those came out. I know Space Invaders is old. I'm not sure about Asteroids though. Honestly, out of all the 6, I would probably go The Simpsons because The Simpsons is the one I played the most of. Pac-Man would, if Simpsons wasn't there, I'd probably pick Pac-Man. So definitely The Simpsons though.
Nice. No, I can't argue. I mean, Simpsons is, like I said, it's the only one of the 6 that are, multiplayer for, and then of that you can play 4 different players, so for me, you saw Autumn's pick. Autumn immediately went to Pac-Man. which again is iconic. I love The Simpsons. Frogger is one of all 6 of these are iconic, right?
Yeah,
Frogger was
absolutely.
super fun, to play, and I actually feel like I played Frogger. I got further in Frogger than any of my friends, just because I don't know. I'm not sure why, but like you said, Asteroids and Space Invaders I played a lot less on the arcade. But for me, if I'm starting an arcade and I'm picking one, I am going hands down, without a doubt, I am getting Galaga in my arcade. That of these 6, that's my favorite arcade machine, and probably my favorite of all time, of any arcade machine. And that's including Mortal Kombat. That's including, any racing game that you can sit down and actually have a steering wheel. That's any fighting game. So I'm gonna go off. I'm gonna go Galaga. Brody. It's The Simpsons. If I'm a business owner, I'm going Galaga. So if he goes off what he wants to play, he's going Simpsons. If he's going off as a business owner, he's going Galaga. But yeah, as far as me, I could just literally play Galaga over and over and over and over again, no matter how many times I die. I could just throw quarters in it and just the same thing with Simpsons, honestly. But yeah, so do you have anything else you wanted to chat about before we go into the pop culture section of this episode?
No.
Perfect. Perfect. For those of you who have watched, we're going to hop into pop culture, which means we are going to look at what other things, movies, TV shows, toys, even celebrities were released or born in March of 1991, which was the same month and year that The Simpsons were released. So, Stich, you're gonna have you're gonna know this one for sure. It is the movie, and let's play the video clip first, and then we'll chat about it. I know you've seen it, and I want to get your opinion on it once it's over. So let's. This is the movie that
it's probably Ninja Turtles.
We will see a movie that was released in March of 1991. Wrong clip.
Yeehaw! Ninja Cowboy!
Real turtles. Leonardo, Michelangelo, Donatello, Raphael.
Yeah, all the good ones had to know.
Real problems.
The Shred Dude!
They're back in an awesome new movie.
Didn't we see these guys on WrestleMania?
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2. The Secret of the Ooze. Rated PG. Now playing at a theater near you.
Go Ninja, go Ninja, go. You know what? Hands down, the best turtle movie of all time. And it's not even close.
Really?
But Turtles 1 was great as well. But Turtles 2 is hands down the best one. And fun fact about Ninja Turtles 2 is Super Shredder was played by former WCW, WWE wrestler, WWF wrestler, Kevin Nash.
Yes.
So, yep. And Keno, actually, the pizza boy delivery guy, that makes sense. The delivery boy, he actually played one of the Ninja Turtles because he knows martial arts.
Yeah.
And ironically enough, he also was in the movie The Rundown with The Rock. I love The Rundown. He played in the jungle. He was one of the guys in the jungle that The Rock that got beat up that got the Rock actually he actually beat up the Rock, and then they called a truce. But yeah,
Nice.
so
Yeah, thinking back, like I remember watching, I think it was the first one more often than the second, but and maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I have to go back. It's been so long since I've seen either one of those movies that I have to go back and actually watch them both to like remember which one I actually watched more, the first or the second one. But either way, they both were great. I liked them both.
Oh yeah, I mean the first and the third one. Now the third one being the worst one, but the first and third one actually, Corey Feldman actually played Donatello in the first and the third one, but he didn't do the second one.
Yep.
So
I'm in disbelief. That had to be planned hot take. You're all trying to rage bait.
no.
You're getting Brody all hot over here, man. Like he's getting pissed. No, I'm just kidding.
Turtles, the reason I personally I think, to me, Turtles 2, one of the best parts in that movie is the Vanilla Ice part. That is that whole scene, that whole part is just, it's awesome. And yeah, I don't know. It's, man. Actually,
Unbelievable.
Now that I think about it, man, I don't know.
It's all good, man. Like I said,
I honestly think I watched Turtles. Man, I don't know. I don't know what Turtles movie I actually watched more of. I really don't, because I remember getting so mad and upset in the first one when Raphael got beat up. And man, I don't know. It's
Brody's not mad.
that Turtles is definitely one of these Turtle games is definitely going to be an episode, if not all of them. If I have anything,
Turtles in Time is definitely up there in my on my list of games we need to do. Even though I know you have way more insight on it than I do, but I played it enough to know a little bit.
But you know what? You probably didn't know is there's two versions of Turtles in Time.
I didn't.
There's the arcade version and then the console version.
Well, I did know there was two different ones, but I didn't know that they were if they were any different than each other. So.
Yeah, they are.
Again, that's a different episode. We don't have to get into it now. We'll break that down. Yep. There was two TV shows that I wanted to talk about that were also released in 1991 in March specifically, and this one was an interesting show. And it was called Studs.
Studs?
Yeah, Studs was a game show.
Never even heard of it.
It premiered in March of 1991. It was on Fox. The show was hosted by Mark DiCarlo and was kind of similar to, I'm sure you've heard of The Dating Game. And I believe it was The Love Connection.
Oh yeah, The Love Connection.
If you watch the intro to Studs, which I did, they actually bring up both The Dating Game and Love Connection. Regardless, the show was very short-lived. Had a lot of negative press because of the controversial use of sexual innuendo. But yes, it was basically just a bunch of guys with no shirts on, walking around, kind of like professional wrestling. Only the girls are trying to date them. That's really the difference.
Okay.
So, yeah. Studs came out in 1991, March, but also, if you were a fan of Nickelodeon, which I know we all were, This show came out in March of 1991 for Nickelodeon.
How fast is the fast-moving game show Get the Picture?
Hi, host Michael O'Malley here with the quick description. First, you answer the question to connect the dots to reveal the square to guess the picture to score more points to win the game. Then you answer more questions to connect the dots to reveal the square to guess the picture to score more points to win the game. Did I mention Mega Memory?
Just one more reason to watch Get the Picture. Weekdays at 6:30, 5:30 Central on the only network for you, Nickelodeon.
Wow.
Get the Picture.
I don't remember that show, but Michael O'Malley, he was in the show called Heels. Which
He was. That's right.
Yep. They
Right.
need to bring that back. We need a third season, damn it.
Come on, Netflix or wherever, whoever picked them up. Was it Netflix that picked them up? I think it was Netflix.
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
Yeah, so I think Netflix picked them up, and then there was like some conversation or, people thinking that they might pick up a third season. I agree. That was terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible way to end it.
Yep, and we need another season of Glow.
Agreed, but not as much as we do Heels.
No.
Glow was very good. I remember. I don't specifically remember how that ended. If it was a huge cliffhanger that never got resolved, but
sad thing is that show was apparently too expensive.
Yeah.
It was too expensive to
Marin. What was that guy's name? Mike Marin? Am I
who?
The trainer or the guy that smoked all the time, mustache? Marin. Anyway,
you're talking about Glow, right?
You can Glow. Very funny comedian. If you guys don't go look him up on. He's got some funny shit on TikTok. Funny stuff on TikTok. I know we're trying to keep this not like the hot tag, but go check him out on TikTok. Very funny.
Yeah, that Mark Maron is his.
Mark Maron. That's it.
That's his actual name. Yeah,
Go look him up on TikTok. Or YouTube, whatever. He's a stand-up comedian. Very funny. Yes. Anyway, with that being said, we are close to the end here. We've got one more. Anyway, Get the Picture. Sorry, I almost skipped over this. It was on Nickelodeon. The show was Michael O'Malley. He did Guts, like Brody said. Basically, it was just two teams of trying to answer questions, and they guess the picture. So as they answer questions, the picture starts to reveal itself, and then they have to guess what the actual big picture was. So hence Get the Picture. So, and the toy, I don't have the person that was born. I didn't look that up. But the toy that was released in March of 1991 is a big toy that Stich, I guarantee you own this.
Maybe.
It was March of 1991, and it was one of Stitch's favorite toys growing up. Let's take a look.
Warm and soft and cuddles a lot. It's my water baby. Squirms and jiggles and gives me the giggles. It's my water baby. My water baby can hold my hand just like my baby sister can. Moves and jiggles and feels so real. It's my water baby.
When your water baby's doll is filled with warm water, it seems to come alive in your arms.
Moves and jiggles and feels so real. It's my water baby.
Water baby's doll from Playmate.
No. But I'll tell you what, if I did, I'd punt that thing to the moon.
I saw your reaction right as I started playing that.
Man, those are so creepy.
Dude, it's weird. Like some of the toys that were back in the day, like fill it up with water and it'll feel like a real baby. Like, there was, I remember seeing, I don't know, this is back then you don't know. And I remember that commercial, like that specifically, that playing a lot. So I remember seeing that in the early 90s, but yeah, Brody knows.
Oh yeah.
It was definitely one of Stitch's favorite toys growing up. So
yeah, it wasn't.
Next week, man, like that wraps this episode up. But next week, you're not gonna be here next week.
No, I won't. I got some family stuff I'm doing. So
yeah, family stuff. So next week we're gonna have the original. I gotta say original, but like the person that was originally going to do Nostalgia Mania, Jason Wallace, who's watching, is my uncle. He is going to stay up later than normal and jump on the podcast with me. And we're going to break down I've got 2 games in mind that I think he's going to pick. I'm letting him choose whether, we're either going to jump back to Sony PlayStation and we're going to talk about Metal Gear Solid, or we're going to go to Super Nintendo. We're going to talk about Super Punch-Out.
Jason, do yourself a favor and talk about Metal Gear Solid, because I would like to be there for the episode of Super Punch-Out, okay?
Yeah.
I really do. I really would like to be a part of that. So go ahead and choose Metal Gear Solid, and it's all good.
Yes.
And you know what? And you know what? If you're available and we do an episode of, Super Punch-Out, you're more than welcome to, be our number 3. So
there you go.
You have an open invitation, sir.
Brody Hall. If you want to ever hop on as our 3rd member of the Nostalgia Mania, you want to come on and talk about, you saw the episode for the most part. It's just reminiscing, getting nostalgic.
Autumn's already been on an episode, so.
Yeah, Autumn filled in for you. Actually, last time I was in a hotel. When you called me earlier, like, I swear I thought you were going to say I couldn't make it. And I was like, this is crazy, because every time I go to a hotel, I thought I was going to be calling Autumn and having her come in and talk about a game she probably never played before. But Metal Gear was a game I thought, there we go, Metal Gear. Brody's on board for Metal Gear. I know you're not a big Metal Gear. I don't think you're a Metal Gear fan. You didn't play it as much as me and Brody did.
I played it once on the Pizza Hut demo.
Yeah, see, you wouldn't. Yeah, so we gotta get Brody on for that one for sure. Yeah. For sure. So if Jason doesn't pick Metal Gear, and even if he does pick Metal Gear, we'll have we'll see if you want to come on next week. If not, it's gonna be Super Punch-Out. And again, Stitch, you played more of regular Punch-Out for NES, right? Mike Tyson.
Oh yeah.
So even then, we could probably have a Mike Tyson Punch-Out episode, because we're going to keep doing this, man. Like, this isn't going to be a 10-episode thing and be done. We're going to keep going. There's a lot of games out there for arcade. Hell, we have not repeated a system yet. 6 episodes in, and we have not had a single game for the same system, right? Am I right?
I think so.
What was first episode? We did Super Nintendo, Zelda. We did Super Mario, which was 1, 2, and 3 for one episode. We did, that was regular Nintendo. We did Sonic the Hedgehog, which was on Sega, sorry. We did the wrestling Nintendo 64, World Tour and Revenge. And then now we did we did Twisted Metal, PlayStation, and we did arcade. So we have not repeated a console yet. So, and we still haven't done Game Boy. We still haven't done Game Boy Color. We still haven't done Sega Saturn. Sega Dreamcast. There's a ton of games that came out in the 80s and 90s that we have. So, plethora.
The funny thing is about the Sega Saturn is the only game I ever remember playing on it was Daytona. it was something Daytona, but it was a racing game because I remember going and playing the demo at Toys R Us.
And what was this demo for? What?
It was a demo for Sega Saturn it was a Daytona game. It was a racing game. I just don't remember specifically what the game was actually called. So
I never owned a Sega Saturn, but I remember renting that system from Hollywood Video or Blockbuster.
It was literally called Daytona USA. That is
Daytona USA is an arcade game.
Well, it was an arcade game. It was a Microsoft Windows game, Sega Saturn, Dreamcast, 360, and PS3.
Yeah.
It was on all those platforms. I just specifically remember it only being on Sega Saturn. So.
Yeah, it was a huge game on the arcades. Because I remember playing that Daytona USA and you would play it in, with 4 players at an arcade. It was always fun. Cruising USA was a good one too.
Oh man, Cruising
USA. That's got to be an episode. So like I said, we've got a lot of arcade games we haven't done. We have like I said, this is not. We're gonna be going for a while. So. I know Hunter did not join tonight, which is actually the only episode he hasn't joined.
Wow, Hunter. Hunter, if you're watching this, if you go back and watch this, I'm disappointed in you, sir.
But he wants to be on a show where we talk about a game show that was on console. So I don't know. I wish he was in here because I would have asked him which was his favorite, and maybe we could throw it into an episode one week.
Yeah,
but
or throw in a couple.
Space Jam was on Saturn, and that was awesome. Didn't was play that. I can't decipher what he's saying here.
Come on, Brody, spell check.
Didn't was play that on. I'm assuming didn't we play that on PS3? No, I don't remember Space Jam. I remember NBA Jam. I also remember
NBA Jam will also be probably an episode
100%
that we play.
100%. I also remember Looney Tunes basketball. I don't know if you played that or not, but it's not Space Jam, but it's Looney Tunes basketball. I think that's probably what Brody's talking about because you could pick Bugs Bunny, Taz, Elmer Fudd. I don't remember playing a Space Jam basketball game, but I remember playing a Looney Tunes basketball game.
There's a Space Jam game for the new Space Jam that you can play. It's kind of like a button masher. It's on like Xbox One and PS4 or PS5 or whatever.
Yep.
I got to stop using swipe. Yeah, I can never swipe on the cell phone with the chatting thing. I know Josh can do it. I've seen you do it.
Sometimes, yeah. It all just depends. If you miss one letter of what you want to type, it'll say something completely different. So,
the racing game. Brody said.
Game. Yeah. Looney Tunes basketball. I'm pretty sure. There you go. I'm pretty sure it's Looney Tunes basketball, which again is a fantastic game. I loved it. We can do an episode on that. I also want Saturday Night Slam Masters as an episode that's on multiple platforms. But anyway, regardless, that is it. An hour and 24 minutes.
I think that's our longest episode so far.
It's close, man. Last week was right around here, so we're hitting close to that 1 hour and 30-minute mark every week now. So.
Yeah, man. Let's. You know what? And as this show goes on, I'm sure these episodes on some of these games and stuff will be longer.
Yeah, especially if we get a game where we're both like super well versed in.
Yeah,
right?
For sure.
Which I mean, I feel like we both were kind of on this one. So But yeah, that's
So I do have a story. I do kind of have a little story to tell. It's not very long, but it's in reference to arcades. Arcades are pretty much a thing of the past now. But they have Dave and Buster's. So the one and only time I ever went to Dave and Buster's, I think it might have actually been the one at the Legends. But I'm not sure. So, but anyway, it was me, my mom, and my brother Jacob and my brother Josh. And I remember because I'd gotten a Coke, and I don't remember any of the games that we played at. I don't remember any of the games that I played specifically at Dave and Buster's, because there's only one thing in this story that I'm about to tell you is the only part of Dave and Buster's that even sticks out in my mind. Because of this one thing that happened, I probably will never go to Dave and Buster's ever again. And it was the one and only time that I ever went. But anyway, so I'm sitting there, I take a drink of my Coke, and there's a piece of food in it. When they bring me my refill, there's a piece of food in it, a piece of soggy food. And I was like, wow, that is gross. So I told the waitress or waiter or whatever. And all they did was laugh about it. They just laughed about it like it was no big deal. They're like, oh, we'll get you another one. And then, they brought me another one. And of course, there wasn't a piece of food in it, thank God. But yeah, that was my one and only time I ever went to Dave and Buster's. And because of that one incident, I probably won't ever go back. So I do remember going to that arcade place in Kansas with you and Megan. And we ate at Oklahoma. It was called Oklahoma Joe's at the time. Back then, we ate at Oklahoma Joe's, and then we went. It was like in Olathe, Overland Park.
Yeah, it was in Shawnee, and it was called Power Play.
Yeah, that's it. Yep.
But it has since been renamed. I can't remember what it's called now, but it's still an arcade. It's kind of geared. It's kind of like Dave and Buster's now. It's geared toward more children now, but it still has an arcade section in it. So, yeah. So I can't remember exactly what it's called now, but it's the same building. But anyway,
there went that sponsor.
I already tried it, Brody. They don't do sponsorship. I walked right into their facility, talked to their owner. They don't do sponsors. So literally that building is actually the same strip mall as Hypercomputer and Battle Games, which is a sponsor of Fountain City Pro, which is why I walked over there after I got, collected the Hypercomputer money. I said, you know what? Let me go see if this company over here wants to sponsor us. And they said, nah, no thanks. Look at that. Space Jam. Is that Space Jam?
No, just the Looney Tunes.
Looney Tunes basketball. Look at that. So, appreciate everybody tuning in. Let's tune in again next week. Autumn did ask. I know I didn't answer her because
maybe we could get Pepsi to sponsor.
There's Pepsi. No way. No way.
Who would you even talk to about that?
I've looked. They don't. The person they had listed on my website doesn't even work for Pepsi anymore. So.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to get back to Autumn. Right there. What day next week? So, I think I put Tuesday. So I told him Tuesday. So let's call it Tuesday for now. That's technically when this show is supposed to air. It's Tuesday nights. So I know we've kind of shifted back and forth. Tuesday, Wednesday, But let's call it Tuesday. If for whatever reason we gotta do Wednesday, we'll do Wednesday. But Jason's going to pick the game, and he said he'll be on it, so we'll see.
And he better, if he knows what's good for him, he'll pick Metal Gear Solid.
He might pick Metal Gear. You never know. Never know.
Jason, I'm just kidding, man. You pick whatever game you want, man.
Like I said, if he does pick Super Punch Out, I will restrict him from talking only Super, because I know you are a big Mike Tyson Punch Out fan. So.
No, man, there's no limits, man. This is all for fun and nostalgia purposes, and yeah, you know, and I've got Super Punch Out on Super Nintendo, and I've got Mike Tyson's Punch Out. So
yeah,
but sadly enough, on the Switch, they don't actually have Mike Tyson's Punch Out. It's just called Punch Out, but it's literally Mike Tyson's Punch Out. But Punch Out was renamed. Well, I'll stop.
Speaking of Mike Tyson, ladies and gentlemen,
I'll stop that because I want to save all that for for that episode.
Yeah, don't give too much away of the game. But this was it Sunday?
The results of the fight,
November 17th, this Sunday, I think, is when Mike Tyson and
Jake Paul
are gonna fight. And again, it seems like it's gonna be just like the freaking I'm drawing a blank. Money Mayweather.
Floyd Mayweather.
Floyd Mayweather's fight, where it didn't seem like it was a legitimate.
No, it's not, man.
Fight. So who knows? I mean, it's going to probably make millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars, but I don't think the fight's going to be legit.
If whatever I read was right, now I'm not sure if it is or not. Mike Tyson is said to make, I think, $26 million from the fight. I think Jake Paul's going to make $40 million. So yeah, they're doing 8 2-minute rounds. The rounds will be 2 minutes long, and they're using 14 ounce.
Knockouts are
permitted. Yep, and there's no headgear. 14-ounce gloves. So, and you know what? The thing of it is Mike Tyson hasn't stepped in the ring in a professional bout since 2005. So he's been away from the ring and competition for a long time.
Didn't he just fight the last 5 years?
Well, I meant actively, like an actual professional bout. I don't mean like Brody. just
1,000%.
But Mike Tyson, honestly, Mike Tyson is probably hands down the greatest fighter of all time.
100%. No argument here.
People could make the argument for Muhammad Ali, and Muhammad Ali was a great boxer. He really was. But I think now, and this has come from Muhammad Ali himself, I think if those two were to step in the ring during their primes, I think Mike Tyson would take it.
1,000%.
Because his power was unmatched.
Prime versus prime, Mike Tyson over Muhammad Ali.
And a lot of people sit there and say that, oh, Mike Tyson, he bit Evander Holyfield's ear off and all this. That's what people know Mike Tyson for. But what a lot of people don't know is
that's what non-boxing fans remember. Mike Tyson
yeah, exactly. But they didn't see what instigated that. They didn't see, they just saw the ear biting. That's all they saw. They didn't see the headbutts that Evander Holyfield did. They didn't see the low blows that Holyfield did. So, that fight is taken out of context because Tyson was so mad that he bit Holyfield's ear off. And but to me, when that fight took place, that was not Mike Tyson. I feel like that was a shell of Mike Tyson's former self. It really was. Mike Tyson before he went to prison was prime Mike Tyson. So, but when he came out of prison, he wasn't prime Mike Tyson anymore.
Right.
I still wouldn't fight him. I still wouldn't make him angry. I still wouldn't make him mad. Even right now, I wouldn't. But unfortunately, that's the only thing that I do know. That's the only thing that Mike Tyson has against him is the fact that he's not been an active competitor and his age.
Yeah.
So,
agreed.
But yeah, with that being said, I've talked too much, and I could have saved all that for, the Mike Tyson game. But
that's all right. It's all right.
Who knows? But who knows when we actually will talk about the Mike Tyson's Punch Out? So
yeah, we'll get there eventually. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Brody, Autumn,
Jonathan, thanks for tuning in.
John Geyer, he popped in for a little while. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. This is episode 6 of Nostalgia Mania. If anybody, like I said, if anybody watching wants to have an opportunity to come onto the show and talk about a video game, let us know. Let us know what game you're passionate about. And we're good. Either having you co-host or having you being as the third member of the show. Or even if you want to host the show by yourself, that's fine too. There you go, man. Like that, we might want to take a week off. I mean, hell, I'm in I'm in a hotel. I could have taken the week off if somebody else would have been willing to come in and fill in for me. But no. Again, this has been episode 6 of Nostalgia Mania. We are live every Tuesday and or Wednesday each week to break down, not really break down, but just to get nostalgic about, video games from the 80s and 90s, maybe even the early 2000s. We may look into that as well. But appreciate everybody for tuning in. And with that being said, tune in next week. We'll be live again on Wednesday or on Tuesday, November 19th, where we'll be talking about not sure yet, but Stich will be taking the week off, and he will be back on the 26th, the week of Thanksgiving.
Ooh.
So that's Tuesday.
I don't know because since I'm 2 hours away from Kansas City, my home, so we're doing family stuff. Well, let me rephrase that. I'm doing my family right now stuff, like my girlfriend and some of her family, and my new family, I guess you could say, or soon to be family. I don't know, maybe. We're doing that stuff the 19th and the 20th because we're celebrating 2 different things. And then I'm supposed to do family with my mom and my 2 brothers sometime before probably Thanksgiving, but I'm not sure because my work schedule is not
Thanksgiving on the 28th, so that's in 2 weeks, 2 weeks and 2 days. So that is right? Yeah, 28th is Thanksgiving. So 2 weeks. So next week you can't have the show. You got plans. The following week is Thanksgiving.
Yeah, which I'm not sure about. So
okay, that's fine. We'll revisit that and we'll see. And if we just skip a show or have a second co-host, whatever. But other than that, let's check the chat. Quit wasting my hockey time. So if we keep talking, that means Brody has to wait longer to play hockey. Is that what I'm hearing?
I think so, yeah.
All right.
I think Brody is missing some Stichamania time.
He is. I think we all have that little moment of missing Stichamania.
Probably.
So
yeah, being 2 hours away, man, it's kind of puts a damper on things.
It does.
So
that it does. All right. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. This is the real Josh Elliott. That is the co-host, the Derrick Stichamania Stich. I know I keep
You know, if you actually go into your settings, you can actually flip the camera.
Yeah, but if you do that, then everything behind you is backwards.
No. No, because how it shows on my screen is how it looks
in real life. But if you put I don't know. Like right now, I'm holding up my left hand.
Yeah.
But it looks like my right hand.
No, it doesn't look like your right hand. It looks like your left hand.
Is that backwards? Anyway.
No.
Maybe I'll figure it out. I've been doing this podcast thing for 3 years. Maybe I'll figure it out one of these days.
That's all?
Right. Huh?
I said that's all?
That's
Just
all.
3 years?
3 years. 2022. April 2022 is when we started. So, all right. We'll see you guys next week for another episode of Nostalgia Mania. We will talk to you guys later, and let's keep it nostalgic.